All right. Welcome to the channel, subscribers. Shawn Porter, Errol Spence Jr. have a face-off. Shawn Porter, man, that's a wild boy. Let's talk about it in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also, I want to thank everybody that supports on the Patreon, supports in the live streams that we do Monday through Friday, right around 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 Eastern Standard Time. And OG Boxing Talk, we had a great show this weekend, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Enjoy the show. Fox is promoting the pay-per-view fight that's going to be taking place on September 28th between Errol Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter. Fight that I'm very much looking forward to. Going to be a rough and tumble affair. Two very experienced champions get in the ring with each other. Definitely favor Errol Spence Jr. to win the fight. It could be very well be a tough test for Errol Spence Jr. because Shawn Porter ain't the type of guy to lay down, and he's gonna give it his all to try to win that fight. If he can win the fight, it's a huge thing for his career and all of that. But what I want to talk about in this video is what he said in the press conference again. He said, "What are you gonna do when I cut you, Errol?" And Errol said, "The only way that you can cut me is if you headbutt me or you elbow me, and everybody knows that you're a dirty fighter." And Shawn Porter and him were both, Shawn Porter was trying real hard to get into Errol Spence Jr.'s head. Errol Spence Jr., I don't think that it worked. Errol Spence Jr. is pretty much telling him, "Look, man, you've already been beaten. Every fight that you're in is a tough fight for you." And basically says, "I'm gonna knock you out." Shawn Porter pointed out the fact that he had said that Errol Spence Jr. had said that about Mikey Garcia, but Mikey Garcia, he didn't knock out Mikey Garcia. Errol Spence said, "I didn't want to knock out Mikey Garcia. I wanted to show my boxing skills." Now, my take on it is this: Shawn Porter is the older, the more mature fighter. And let me not say this. I'm not saying mature, like emotionally mature between the two. I think Errol Spence Jr. is a very mature young man. I like that guy as a person. Shawn Porter has been around longer. He's been in more championship fights. And I think what he's going to do is he's trying to get inside the head of Errol Spence Jr. He's trying to sow doubts in the mind of Errol Spence Jr. And when they get into the ring, Shawn Porter's going to be absolutely positively as dirty as he can be. Without a doubt, he's going to try to be as dirty as he possibly can be and can get away with. And I think that one of the most important things for Errol Spence Jr. in his camp to do is to point that out to the referee and make sure that a referee knows that that's the case, and to watch for that. Watch that from the beginning of the fight, because when Shawn Porter gets, Shawn Porter's going to start jabbing and trying to fight from the outside, and he's going to try to box from the outside. Errol Spence Jr. is going to be able to do some things to him that that he's not going to be able to get over on. I don't really want to mention what those things are, but the basic things that when you see a taller, longer fighter versus a fighter that really does like to rough up on the inside. It's going to be a lot of jab. It's going to be, good, strong jab, good, strong southpaw jab, uppercuts when he leans in. But, Shawn Porter very much, dude. I mean, now when rewatching his fights, Shawn Porter's head is, it's just ridiculous, man. And I've said this for years. I said it about the Berto fight. The Berto fight was probably the best example of Shawn Porter going into hyper dirty mode. And I don't mean dirty mode like Bernard Hopkins, because Bernard Hopkins was that way too. Bernard Hopkins was excellent at, low, like hip shots, hip shots when you're tied up on the opposite side of the opposite side of the ropes of the ref rather. Sweeping his, as he changes his head from one side to the other, kind of scraping over the top of your head with the top of his head. Those are kind of, I think Bernard Hopkins was a very, he was a savvy fighter, but, in a more discreet way. Same thing with Evander Holyfield. I don't believe Evander Holyfield with, the headbutt Holyfield, he defends himself with the head. It reminds me of something that Isaiah Thomas, the basketball player, said one time when he was actually had these videos, and this is why I think that these guys headbutt like this, and why I believe that it's intentional from Sean Porter. Isaiah Thomas said that was teaching somebody a crossover, right? And if you ever look at Isaiah Thomas, the next time you see the original Isaiah Thomas, the one that played for the Detroit Pistons in the 1980s, early 1990s, he's got cuts over both of his eyes. They're both cut over his eyes. One came from an elbow, nasty elbow that he took from Karl Malone, but he's got multiple cuts over his eye. And he's got multiple little knots and bumps on the top of his head. And that's because of the way that he crossed over to defend the ball. He said what he would do is he would make sure he always does crossovers for the most part, but below his knee. By leaning forward, with his head forward and crossing behind his knee, he's protecting the ball with both his knee and his head. And he said that he would wind up running into other point guards often and cutting their eyes or cutting their head because he was dipping down and literally defending the basketball with the top of his head. And I think that's what Sean Porter does as well. Sean Porter used the reason, he said, look at my eyes, they're all cut up. Why would I want to cut up my eyes? That is just you do it so much you can't avoid to cut your eyes every once in a while. But let's see what do you think the chances are that Sean Porter caused more cuts over people's eyes than he actually took, right? How many times did that you missed, he got in a little lower and he cut your eye, but over the course of your career, you definitely gave a lot. He definitely gave a lot more than he took. And, I would watch Sean Porter. I've been watching Sean Porter since before the Paulie Malignaggi fight. And I just look at this guy like, come on, man. How do people, I didn't have any reason not to like Sean Porter, right? I was rooting for Sean Porter, but I was like, how in the world are these referees letting this guy get away with fighting like this? This isn't boxing. This is just wrestling. This is wrestling. This is elbows, headbutts, mugging, bopping you like that with the side of his head. It's just ridiculous. And the referee is really gonna have to try to watch that. And that's the big danger. That I believe is the big danger for Errol Spence Jr., in that fight. The rest of it, I think, is, it's Ugas on steroids, because not literally on steroids, but Ugas, when Ugas fought Sean Porter, Sean Porter was able to move around on the outside a lot and not, and really not engage unless he wanted to, unless it was on his terms. When he can, then he would come in, wrestle, hold, and kind of switch between the two of those. I think that Errol Spence Jr. having faster feet than Ugas is really going to kind of stick the jab, and it's going to more than likely come down to what Errol Spence Jr. said in that. Another thing that Errol Spence Jr. said in that deal was like, hey man, I've got talent and I've got skills. And Sean Porter was like, talent and skills, what's the difference between talent and skills? He said, talent is what you're born with. Skills are what you get training in the gym. Or I think he said it's God-given. Talent is God-given. Skills is what you get in the ring. And then Sean Porter is a very talented fighter, but he's not that skilled. And if you have two fighters come together that are both highly skilled, that are both highly talented, but one's more skilled, you see how that comes. But again, I really didn't like what Sean Porter had to say about what are you gonna do when I cut you? You know what I mean? You think anybody really believes that Sean Porter's gonna cut him with a jab or cut him with a straight right hand on the southpaw? No, I don't think anybody does. Sean Porter knows what he was saying. Sean Porter's trying to intimidate him, trying to get into his head. But, you know, I just hope that the referee, because I want to see a good fight. I would hate to see a fight like that end because Sean Porter jumps in there and busts him in the, you know, busts Errol in the eye with his head, and then it has to go to the scorecard in round 3. But Sean Porter was the type of dude that would take that and walk away with it like, yeah, that's why I did what I want. I did what I came to do. It's the type of dude he is. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out. Peace.